The situation of Netflix trying to buy Warner Brothers just keeps getting crazier because now Paramount is officially fighting back, which would be good for movie theaters, but bad and worse in a whole lot of other ways. Let me explain. So earlier today, Paramount announced that yes, they are launching a hostile takeover to try to buy Warner Brothers, which pretty much means that even though the CEO of Warner Brothers and different executives at the company said no, we're going with the Netflix deal, now Paramount is going directly to the shareholders and offering them an insane amount of money. As you can see, $108 billion, which is over $22 billion more than Netflix is offering. Now, one of the reasons the bid is so much higher is because, well, Netflix is just trying to buy Warner Brothers, which would give them HBO Max and the rights to all their different characters and franchises like the Lord of the Rings, DCU, Harry Potter, and stuff like that. Paramount is also trying to come in and buy the TV networks that Warner Brothers owns, which Netflix was not buying in their bid. And this will give Paramount control over things like MTV, TNT, and most importantly to them, CNN. Now, while Paramount did clearly see the pushback people had against Netflix and putting movies directly on streaming and stuff like that, they came out and said that they promised to release more than 30 films theatrically every single year if they take over Warner Brothers Discovery, half of those being Paramount films, the other half being Warner Brothers. Say we love the movie and entertainment business, we believe deeply in its future, and we want to help preserve and strengthen it. Movies are one of America's greatest exports. We want to lean into that legacy, not diminish it, which obviously sounds good on the surface, but we also just had Paramount coming out and saying that they're going to be focused on making IP and commercial films going forward, that they are dramatically scaling back their budgets in awards campaigns, and that they pretty much have no interest in anything but down the middle IP. It's all about commerciality. Now, obviously, a studio like Warner Brothers heavily relies on their IP and brand recognition on things like the DC Universe and Harry Potter, but this is also a studio that's given us a great original movies this year, like Sinners, One Battle After Another. We had Weapons. It sounds like if Paramount gets their hands on Warner Brothers, it's just going to be the straight up sequel factory. We're not going to see them take any risks, give any big original ideas a bigger budget or anything, which is honestly just not what you want to see out of a movie studio. And also, you have to look at the money Paramount's actually using to buy Warner Brothers, because obviously the Ellison family are in charge of Paramount. They're very close with Trump, who is very vocal about wanting like his ideas pushed in movies and stuff going forward, which I don't care which side you're on, you should not want the government deciding what goes in your movies. But beyond just that, it also seems like Paramount's like, okay, how cartoonishly evil can we really get? Because in this new bid, that's $108 billion. That's a lot of money. Obviously, a huge portion of it, like over 20 billion, is coming from Saudi Arabia. And the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia and their government have literally said like, oh yeah, we don't want governing interest in Warner Brothers. We're just helping support financially here for financial return. But I'm sorry, if you give $20 billion for something, you do have control over that no matter what you say. You should not want them involved in Warner Brothers either. And one of the other biggest people supporting this bid is Jared Kushner, who, if you don't know, is literally the son-in-law to Trump, who really doesn't have the final say in any regulatory things surrounding which company gets to buy him, but I'm sure he's gonna find a way to like throw himself into this and get a say, because he literally said like, oh yeah, I'll be involved in that decision when talking about Netflix earlier today. And he kept talking about the fact that, hey, he thinks Ted Sarandos is great, he respects what he's done with the company of Netflix, but that him buying Warner Brothers does give them a way bigger market share and that they'll have to look into it. So the seeds are definitely being planted for this not going through with Netflix, but again, Netflix obviously knew Paramount wanted this company. They knew there was going to be regulatory challenges with it. And Netflix's CEO, Ted Sarandos, just came out after all this news saying that, hey, we have a done deal and we are incredibly happy with this deal. We think it's great for our shareholders. It's great for consumers. We'll see about that. We think it's a great way to create and protect jobs in the entertainment industry. We're super confident we're going to get it across the line and finish. And again, you have to consider that Netflix is literally willing to pay $5 billion to pretty much gamble on the fact that this is not going to get blocked by regulators. Like, if it gets blocked, they pay Warner Brothers $5 billion. But if Warner Brothers ends up leaving and backing out of this deal with Netflix at this stage, they now have to pay Netflix $2 billion, which obviously could be made up for with how much Paramount's paying. And Warner Brothers says it will carefully review Paramount and Skydance's acquisition offer and issue a recommendation to them in 10 days. Now again, this is pretty much the deal that Paramount was offering from the beginning that Warner Brothers ended up turning down and deciding to go with Netflix instead. It's just that now they're going over the management of Warner Brothers straight to the shareholders. And if they see that much more money, who knows what they're going to do? So it's really a mess either way. Like, obviously there is the concern about movies not being in theaters with Netflix, but I kind of do want to trust them and think that, hey, at least for the Warner Brothers side of things, for the next like 5 years at least, they're going to keep films in theaters for hopefully like 30-day windows. Even though it's shorter, it would be disappointing. I feel like they're going to at least let Warner Brothers do its own thing, let Gunn control his DC universe and the new Harry Potter show be its own thing. Whereas Paramount is planning like, yeah, we will keep up the theatrical releases and everything, which again, they could go back on their word too and end up putting stuff on Paramount Plus sooner in the future too. Again, these are all just CEOs of companies telling people what they want to hear. But while that ends more promising, you don't know what's going to actually happen to the content itself. Are filmmakers, like again, especially James Gunn, a lot of his ideas are a lot more liberal in his movies. Are they going to get censored? Is he going to get canned? And obviously, there's a lot more than just the DCU that goes into this. Of course, they probably want it because of CNN, but since I'm a superhero channel, that's kind of my focus in this whole thing for right now. If I had to bet, I think this is going to get fought for like 2 years, and Netflix is going to end up winning it. They're going to get the deal through and end up owning Warner Brothers. It's just going to be a very long journey to get there. If you want to see some positive Warner Brothers news, we just got our first look at the new Supergirl movie, so click the video above my head to watch that, and thank you for watching.